Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. We are back with trying to figure out, it's probably a dessert type bread, but it's also sort of a savoury bread. It is called fig and walnut bread. You can decide whether you think it's a dessert bread or a savoury bread. The fact that they tell you to serve it with cheese probably gives it away that it's a bit of a savoury one. Anyway, here's what we need. We're going to make one loaf. So first of all, you will need your oven on 200, and you will need a pan or a flat tray if you've got one that you can just dust with plain flour. You will also need a bowl, a stirring stick, aka handy pink spatula, and you will need somewhere where you can turn the dough out onto to knead it. So you are going to have to put flour down. Anyway, come on in. I'm going to show you what these are. Okay, so ingredients are as follows. Plain flour to dust, and for when we're kneading it on the board. 3 cups of self-raising flour, 100 grams of chilled butter chopped, 250-gram packet of Angus Park figs chopped. Now, Angus Park is just a brand of figs. I just brought the ones from Aldi, chopped them up, and I had a bit of a snack. They were good. 1 cup of walnuts chopped. Now, when I chop things like those up, I like to put them into the mortar and pestle. So a mortar and pestle is basically just this bowl, and you have a pounding stick, and you just... it's very therapeutic, if you want to give each walnut a name. I'm joking, maybe. 1 cup of milk. So I've got my lactose-free light long life milk. Back to that one after using the other ones. 1 egg, which I've lightly whisked. And brie or similar cheese to serve. Now, you don't have to serve it with brie. You can serve it with anything you want. But the fact that I do like cheese, I didn't say no to that either. So let's get started. Okay, so this is one of those where you're going to be using your hands. So give them a really quick wash with something, some sort of a sanitizer, soap, or antibacterial. That's the word I was looking for, sorry. I knew what I was talking about. Give them a good dry. All right. So we're going to bring the bowl over and move the milk and the figs out of the way for later. Okay, so into said bowl, please add your 3 cups of self-raising flour and your 100 grams of chopped butter. Okay. And if I can roll my sleeves up, might make it a little bit easier. Okay, fingertips, and just make it snow. I'm a little bit unco with doing this, but it's a little bit therapeutic. So you just want to use your fingertips and just go through with it. Okay. So you keep going with this until the whole mixture actually looks like breadcrumbs. So you will be at it for a while. Does it remind you that it's snow or that it's raining? It's doing neither at the moment. It's a really hot, humid, weird day today. It's been a rest day for me. A lazy, lazy rest day. I've deserved it though, thank you. So it's time to, a little bit late in the day cooking this, but this is my dinner. Not much of a dinner, I know, but it is getting, by the time it's cooked, it's going to be getting on for a bit later. So the figs were a good snack and a few walnuts. So every now and again I like to try something different. I mean, this is sort of done it before, but I've never done fig and walnut bread. And the fact that I've sort of got it in with my breads means that I've technically already called it a savoury bread, but I don't know why. I would probably serving it with the cheese. Because what I do is any recipes I sort of divide them into 3 different categories. We have dessert, we have entrees, and we have mains. So everything falls into either of those, because entrees can be snacks, it can be like a starter, it can be something for lunch, something small. Main is obviously a main meal, and then dessert is obviously sweet treats, the yummy stuff. All right, this is coming together pretty easily. So that was why. If it hadn't have said to serve it with cheese, like if it had said to serve it with jam or something, so you could actually cut it up and serve it on a little bit of an afternoon tea or a cheese board instead of some biscuits, or with biscuits as well. I try not to get too involved with cheese because I do love it, all the different cheeses. Tried very hard to avoid buying lots of them because I do love them. Alrighty. I'm happy with that. Okay, stir in the fig and walnut. Alright, in you go figgies. In you go walnuts. Alright. Now we've got some stuff in there. Let's go. Stir them in. We're still dry. We've got only dry ingredients at the moment, but we're actually coating these with the flour by doing it this way. Okay, once they're in, add milk and egg. Now what I would do is I would make a well. For you that are new to cooking, making a well is basically pushing everything around the outside, and you have a crevice in the middle, aka a well. And if you put your liquid into there, it just makes it easier to mix it in. So in goes your cup of milk, and in goes your egg. Let's see, probably into there. See there? All right. Then handy pink spatula. Just start gradually bringing the sides in. Start bringing it in. Bigger movements with your handy pink spatula. And you want to basically just keep stirring it until everything's combined and nothing's dry. All right. Beautiful. Really get in there. Get that spatula. It's good to use a silicone-based spatula for this reason, because a wooden spoon doesn't have that flex that handy pink spatula has. Beautiful. Alrighty. Let's get our bench ready. We'll stir it a bit more in a moment, but let's get the bench ready for the kneading part. So I'm just going to use my chopping board here. So what you want to do, turn onto a lightly floured surface. I always use too much flour when I do this, by the way. And very importantly, get some on your hands. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we basically just want to tip it all into the middle, or try and grab it together in the bowl with your hands first, because then that way you got something to grab. There we go. Oh, look at that. Here you go. See that? Beautiful. All right. Get the rest of it. Whoops. Hope I didn't just drop a fig. All right. So the art of kneading is just basically this. Just keep rolling it, pushing it down. It gets any air pockets out of it as well. And we are aiming, believe it or not, for what shape I've just naturally made without even thinking about it. We want to make it into a loaf or a log. Shape it to a 30-centimeter log. Okay, well, you can either use your brain tape measure, or you can go and get your tape measure or your ruler. So we might just use our brain tape measure for today. And that's only because my hands are so floury. All right. So about 2 minutes, you just want to be really pushing down on it. You might hear it expelling a little bit of air. But overall, it should be really just, and when I'm moving it on the board now, it's not getting stuck, and it's really good. So I'd say that's done enough. Okay, so here's the next step. Bring over that pan that we was talking about at the very beginning. Pan or tray. Can't really go much bigger than that anyway. So shape it to a log, but don't be too perfect with it. Sometimes some of the best bread is actually freeform, which this is freeform because we're not in a loaf pan. We're freeform. You can do some artistic flair with it. Now, our final step, use a sharp knife dipped in flour to score the top of the dough. Okay. Well, I'm just going to use this one. It's almost, I would say that we are just, I'm going to see how sharp it is by cutting myself. None of my knives are super sharp. Basically, I guess it's almost like cutting it into slices. Makes one loaf. It doesn't tell you. All right. Well, just imagine that I'm going to cut it up anyway. All right. Into the oven. 200 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes, or until golden and the loaf sounds hollow when tapped on the base. So you got to turn it upside down and tap it on the base. I will see you when I think it's done. Okay, so forgetting that my oven is do what the hell it wants. I should have done mine on 180, but it's all good. I just gave mine 25 minutes. Been out of the oven for about 3 minutes, and it's clearly golden. I haven't turned it over to tap on it, but I really don't want to touch it to do that. So move it to a wire rack, let it cool before you cut it up, and serve it with your cheese and bickies or whatever else you want to have it with, and enjoy. Thank you for watching this episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. This has been fig and walnut bread. Yum. Hit subscribe because you never know when I'm going to drop an episode. Bye.